wanted to come to you today and just kind of talk about some questions that a lot of you have had that we can't necessarily talk about on Sunday morning during the preaching. But we're going to go over just some questions, some general questions that you guys have been having and discuss it for a bit. So one of the questions that a lot of you had for just your own lives and the things that everyone is kind of seeking. We're in a time where a large majority of people are looking for mates. And so
Are they?
they
A
are
large majority? Okay.
a large, yeah. And so one of the questions was, as a single person, what should be their role now as they're waiting for someone to come along? And I think one of the main things was trying to understand. I think one of the people stated they understood that a single life is a ministry, and they also realized that people also say that being married is a ministry. So if you are a single individual, what really is your role as you wait for your mate to come along?
Oh, so it. I'm trying to think of a way to say this, but I'm just gonna say it. It ain't that deep. It's your single life when you are not with somebody is your life. What has God called you to do? What is your purpose in the planet? What if you don't know what that is, then it's time to figure it out. If you know what it is and you're moving towards it, then you should also make sure that you know who you are fully. Like it's a million things to do prior to being with someone. And I think sometimes the church, we make it more complicated than it has to be in the sense of say, oh, singleness is a ministry. And I get where they get it from in the sense of things that Paul has said in the scriptures. And that's not untrue, but it's not an either or, it's a both and. So it's not just, yes, as a single person, you should be serving, you should be volunteering, you should be ministering unto the Lord, you should be doing these things, but you should be doing those things regardless. I think one of the things we have to really dig into is the fact that many of us, period, married or single, don't fully know who we are. Yeah. And so if you have and it's not, this word is not going to fit for some of you because you're going to be like, nah, I wouldn't call it that, but it is. If you have the freedom of singleness, it's the best time to explore who you are, figure out who you are, what you think, what are your views, where do you want to live? What do you want to do? What temperature, climate do you want to be around most of your life? And I'll say this, and one reason is I say this in the practical sense is because, I'll give you an example. I'm gonna change the careers, but say you got two people. You got one person who is a lawyer, and they have passed the bar in New York. Okay. And they meet somebody who, amazing person, that person's an astronaut. Right? Okay. Now, this stay with me for a second. Person's an astronaut. Now, if you've already concluded as the lawyer that most of your work is going to require you to be in court in the city of New York, watch this, but you are a person who needs quality time.
Okay.
You probably should not be with an astronaut who's going to be on the moon half of the relationship. Yeah. So it's the practical side. But if you don't know that about yourself and you meet this person, y'all fall in love, now you have this huge mountain that you got to figure out because you're just now realizing I need quality time.
Right.
Whereas if you're a person who does well in solitude and you're an extreme introvert and you need time apart, you probably should not date, a banker who's home at 5 o'clock every single day. You probably want the astronaut or the trucker or somebody who's going to be gone a little bit. Yeah, gone. Y'all had the best relationship ever. So I think that's one of the things we have to consider. It's a very practical side of if you are in a space where you have the freedom to figure out who you are, figure out who you are.
Mm-hmm. What do you think in relation to, I had a conversation with one of our members earlier this week. There's a lot of talk about possibly being completely healed before accepting a mate or going into the dating pool or anything like that. Is it true that you have to be And I don't even know, I think we have to look at what the standard of the word of complete would really mean. Complete as in now it's your time to jump into the pool, or complete as in you're this perfect individual, air quotes, that is ready for a mate. But should you be, how should healing look during your time of singleness and preparing for dating?
That's a complicated question. Well, the question isn't really complicated. I think the issue is that we want blanket answers that apply just across the board to say, this is what you do, this is what you don't do. Healing, as you said, I mean, that can vary between each person,
Right.
what that means. Complete healing definitely varies between each person. I don't know that anybody who, and I could be wrong, and I know somebody's probably gonna disagree, but I think this is the truth of the matter. I don't think anyone that is in a relationship or gets married, either of those people are fully healed of all things. You're going to still have some stuff you'll rest, especially, I mean, my parents got married in their early 20s. My grandparents were married 70 something years. They were married, they were together, more of their life was together than it was apart. There's no way.
Yeah,
There's
they
no,
were.
and so I think you have to consider a couple of things, and this is the area in the work that most of us do not want to do. And that is discern each and every person you date, each and every relationship, because each of them are going to vary. So, give you an example. Tori, who is our amazing videographer and edits everything. Tori tore her leg up, right?
Yeah.
And she was dancing in combat boots or something
Yep.
on the back of a couch or something crazy.
Yeah,
and
wifey movement.
tore her foot up, right?
Yeah, she did.
As the leg heals, she enters into different relationships with canes or with crutches or with a wheelchair. Each part of her healing requires a different something that can handle where she currently is. I don't know that she has to be healed to go out the house. She just needs something that can handle where she is in the healing process. So you got to ask yourself the question, can the person I'm with handle
That's good.
wherever I find myself in my healing process?
That's good.
If the answer is yes, rock on.
Yeah.
If the answer is no, then you have to be honest and say, yeah, I got a severe compound fracture. You at best are a cane. And I'm in a season I need a wheelchair. And understand this other thing, to understand this, that at some point in life, those roles will reverse. At some point, you're going to have to be able to handle the person you're with, their healing process. So I think ain't nobody ever completely healed when you step in. You're going to have something that you got to work through, and you just got to ask, can this person help me? No, I don't say help. Can this person be with me through this?
Right. Do they have the grace to
Do they
walk
have the
you-
grace?
to walk with
Because
you
you
on
picked the
that?
wrong one, they ain't got no grace.
That's true. That's
They'll
really
injure you
good.
more. You see Misery? Oh, y'all seen?
Oh, where's the
Oh,
hammer?
don't leave me. Oh, and everybody probably done dated somebody like that. Do not.
I'm sure we have. I'm sure we have. So,
Oh, you have? Okay.
I mean,
You want to testify? No, I'm just kidding.
no. No, but I think it's extremely important. I like how you said during the process of her healing, it depends on what she utilizes to help her grow in that situation. So if the cane can't handle what level she's at, then the crutch can handle something better. But I think it is really important that, and it's hard because some people are so desperate. They feel like they are not complete without saying that they've at least accomplished a marriage or they've accomplished a relationship, a long-term relationship, whatever that thing may look like for them. And so for those people that, I guess I just wonder what you say to those people that feel like there is just something wrong with me because I haven't come into orbit with the person that can handle me or thinks that I am worthy enough to try?
So I try to balance my natural introvert tendencies um, with with grace. I understand it is the natural desire of all people to be part of, whether that's part of a relationship, part of a family, part of a church, part of something. We all desire it. That's how God made us. The desire is not unnatural. I think when you get to the place of thinking something is wrong with you because it has not occurred, then that is dangerous, and is often deceptive. Something that I would say, from a spiritual standpoint, is probably rooted in a spiritual attack against your mind or your heart or your emotions, probably some spirit of rejection. In a very natural sense, though, it is almost the same as saying something is wrong, with you because you didn't win the lottery, and you play. It's chance. It's chance. And again, this is the natural sense. For all my Pentecostal spiritual, the Lord will assign something. I'm not. We talking strictly natural, right? in a strictly natural sense, it is happenstance oftentimes. And so if you get caught up in what you lack, it almost makes it where you will be more difficult. It'll be more difficult for you to receive it.
Yeah. Okay.
Because you're spending all the time thinking about it. And I think it's normal to feel that way, but it does not mean something's wrong with you. It just means you just have not had that encounter. You've not had that moment. And the other thing, though, we got to ask, though, is for some of us, are we being too picky? I'm just saying.
You got your list. For a long time, we've heard, especially women leaders and preachers.
Let me tell you something.
Write your list.
Throw them lists out.
Write your list.
Throw the list
and
out.
if they don't fit the list,
that list ain't nothing but a form of legalism that we created. Because at the end of the day, no person can match your list. And this is the danger of lists. Lists are like the eyewitness to a crime when they do the lineup. It's a bunch of similar stuff standing in front of you. They all match your list.
Yeah.
How do you pick? And then what do you do if it's only one person around you that fits the list? Does that mean they are the one because they fit this list? Which now you got to consider too, it's billions of people in the world.
Yeah.
Do you know how many people probably are going to match your list? So,
a lot.
And I get it. I did it too. I remember my godfather when me and my brothers were about 18 or something like that. He had to do the same thing. Write out a list, everything you want in a woman, and make it as specific as you can. And we did that. And I remember, what was that, 18, 19? I met a woman when I was 20s, early 20s. Fit everything on the list. But I apparently forgot to write down not crazy. I apparently forgot to write down, not too trifling. So I went back and revised the list. And so you just gotta, you'll always end up in this game of like, oh, they fit this. Man, do they make you happy? Do they treat you right? Do you both love the Lord? Do you have similar passions? Do your personalities fit? Do your worlds match? Astronaut, lawyer, that. And if that does not fit for you, I think many people have to ask this question. Would you rather be by yourself and have peace than be with somebody and have hell? I think that's a question we got to ask.
It's a good question. Put that on your list. Put that on your list.
I think everybody that's dated, all of us have been there. You have a relationship and it's like, oh, I got somebody, but this is
I can do without
I
this.
could do it.
Yeah, yeah.
So, but then it's funny because then you get out of it and you're like, oh, I really want somebody. Oh, I'm by myself again.
What is that? The loneliness, boy. Loneliness
Loneliness is a
plays
monster.
it plays tricks on you.
It's a monster.
So, what would you say to those people that I'm waiting on my mate to show up?
What do you mean?
So, like, I'm waiting on who God, because a lot of people, I kind of play with this thought. A lot of people tend to lean on the thought that God created someone for them, or God is sending someone to them. So I guess my question is I know God is an intentional God, but when it comes to dating and someone who is saying, I am just going to wait, I'm not going to, we have a lot, especially women now, that go out and fish for men. And, we do all of
What
these
do you mean
things.
fish for men?
Yeah, fish.
It's your face, fish. Okay, go ahead. So they go.
Fish
Wait,
for
are they
men,
fishing for men because
Because,
is that their
normally,
waiting? That's not their version
that's
of
not
waiting.
their waiting.
Okay.
Normally we kind of look at men as being the predator. They'll come to me.
That's
They'll,
a strong word. Predator. Jesus.
Oh, I meant that in a
my
very
God.
lovely way. I didn't.
How do
mean
you
that in a-
lovingly call somebody a predator? Brothers.
I mean, you come get what
Gee.
you want, right?
Predator.
My thought process is
Let's say men are more the
the seeker,
initiators.
the
seeker.
initiator,
Okay, the seeker. Okay.
right? But now we have a large. Women are now more empowered, and now
That
they're
is
into
true.
the seeking, and
Yeah.
they put it out there and things like that. So when it comes to, I'm not gonna, especially as a woman, I'm not gonna go seek. I am gonna wait for whoever God has, or who He has made for me to show up. Like, is that a real concept?
Oh, that's loaded.
I know. It's hard.
I think yes, I think it is to some degree. Okay, I'm gonna go seemingly around the mulberry bush, but it's not really.
Okay.
The problem is, folk don't actually talk to God. Let me tell you where I'm going with this.
Okay.
If you have had conversation with God and God has said to you, I have someone for you, assigned to you, and I will reveal and send them whenever, then waiting is very much appropriate.
Okay.
If God has not clearly said that to you, let me put it in this way. If you're saying that, thinking that, this man or woman actually, because of some singles conference you went to, some t-shirts you got, some book you read, and that's what you're basing that on,
Yeah.
I wouldn't. You need to go and talk to the Lord. A lot of times people take, and it sounds weird coming from a preacher and a pastor, but it's true. People take what the preacher says and build their life off of it. Well, the preacher said, God said it, because my pastor said da-da-da-da. God does use preachers. God does use men and women. The Bible talks about this description the Bible gives of preaching, the foolishness of it.
Yeah.
God uses the foolish to confound the wise, which means inherent in all preachers, prophets, apostles, bishops, elders, there's some foolishness.
Yeah. Yeah. That's good.
You got to then take what the foolishness has declared that God has used, and then say, all right, Lord, this is what I heard the woman of God say, the man of God say. Clean it up for me. Clear it up for me. Filter this for me. What is it that you want me to walk out of this with? And so if then God says, hey, wait, next Thursday, your boo's gonna show up at Starbucks.
Yeah.
Then watch this. This is the other thing. This goes deeper. Then you are obligated to that word. So that means then, even though you're not in a relationship, you need to be living like you are attached if you believe that word.
Oh.
Because if God says next year, next Thursday, in 2024, I'm sending your wife, I'm sending your husband, why are you dating now? You either believe the word or you don't. Now, if God does not give you that, God does not say to you, I have this person, I set it on the side, they're coming, da-da-da-da-da, then you should date. You should just, enjoy life. It's not wrong at that point, whether you're a sister or a brother, and you say, hey, you're attractive, I like you, let's go out.
What is godly dating?
I don't know.
Can
what
we
does
make
mean?
that clear? How should a Christian date? Because today,
What?
dating means.
I'm sorry, go ahead.
Today, dating means I done put a title on you. We sleeping together. We done made plans. We
Sleeping together, sex.
We're having sex. We're doing everything that a married couple should do. Like, what
Some
would
married couples don't have sex, but go ahead. That's a whole other thing.
Well, listen, if that's what y'all set up as a married couple, not to have sex, that's what you said.
Why would you marry a casket? But go ahead. Go ahead. I'm just saying. Some of y'all too saved, but let's keep the party going.
So dating.
Just saying.
Is there a certain way that dating should look for those who said?
I think we make it too complicated. It should be the same principles that God holds us to as individuals.
Okay.
If it's a sin as an individual, it's a sin as a couple.
Okay.
And I think people have to just be honest about that. Godly dating, it sounds like a book. Is that a book? Google it. Google, because I want to make sure it's not a book before I say something.
Okay.
Because then somebody going to be like, he talking about so-and-so book.
All right.
But yeah, I think it's not that complicated. It's, if you are trying to live holy and biblically, then you should date the same way. You can. It's a book.
Godly Dating 101.
Okay, so author of Godly Dating 101. I have nothing against you. God bless your ministry. I think it's just that simple. However you live as an individual, that's how your dating life should be. Whatever your goal is and whatever you're striving for in your one-on-one walk with the Lord, it should be the same in your dating relationship. And I think a lot of times we have to be honest. Let me tell y'all something. It's a testimony, transparency. I don't know what you want to call it. But I remember when, as I dated as a single preacher, I wasn't pastoring, but as a single preacher, I was dating and we was doing it. Fornicating. I know good and doggone well it was a sin. I didn't call that godly dating. You can't, we're dating. Let's just call it, we are dating. That's dating. This is not an example for the nations. We're not about to write a book on it. This is just what it is, you know? And so I think people have to be honest about what they're doing. You can't call it godly dating. Oh, God, I met him in church. That don't make it godly.
Sure doesn't.
I mean, it's church.
I met my best heathens at church.
Your best heathens?
The best ones.
Yeah, I think ultimately, godly dating, if you were to label something like that, it is the same as a godly lifestyle. Okay. You know, and so if you're living and striving to live in holiness and all that, your dating life should be the same way. And if it's not, you just got to be honest about that. Lord, I'm still struggling here. God, I saw a dude online the other day. I can't remember his name. He said, he's a comedian. I can't remember his name. He said, I need somebody that's a little under fine and a little not super sexy. Because if she is fine, or she's sexy, he said, I'm not going to obey the Lord. And you got to be honest about it. You got to be honest. You know your limits. That's why I think God gave some of y'all some mediocre looking.
That's what I was about to say. As a woman, I don't know how I would feel that I heard him say that, and he picked me.
I don't know if he married. I hope this guy's single, because if his wife is, well, he did say that he wants the Lord to send somebody that is fine, just not fine.
That's you probably shouldn't have said that.
Well, it don't matter. It's his life. Most brothers ain't gonna say it if you got somebody, but yeah, I think it's you don't want nobody that's gonna make you deny the Lord.
Oh gosh, that's okay. All right, I would be
What?
in my feelings. I would just be in my feelings. I want you to think I'm fine. I don't want you.
Do you want to be so fine that he gonna disobey God for you?
I want you to think I'm fine. Okay.
Why your voice go like that? I want you to think I'm fine.
I'm sorry.
Okay, go ahead. I think hopefully I answered your question. Whoever asked about godly dating.
Okay.